Hey, my name is Julia. I'm an 18-year-old college student. I wanted to share the story of how my parents got into financial trouble and how I had to grow up faster than most people to help my family. When I was a child, I lived in a suburb with my grandma, mom, dad, and my two little brothers. We were not super rich or anything, but I cannot even remember a Christmas when my brothers and I did not get every single thing we could possibly wish for. Life was just happy. Sadly, my grandma passed away when I was a kid. Since we were such a close family, it hit everyone pretty hard. Life went on, but my parents seemed increasingly annoyed every time I talked about Grandma at the dinner table. It felt like Mom and Dad did not even want to remember her, which just felt wrong because you're always supposed to remember your family and keep the memory of their legacy alive. One Christmas, a few years after my grandma died, my brothers were sad and disappointed. For the first time, they did not get all the gifts they wanted. I was older than them and did not really mind, but it seemed to hit them hard, and my parents were so sad that Christmas. I was kind of confused because even though my little brothers believed in Santa, I knew it was actually Mom and Dad that got everything. I asked my mom and dad if everything was okay, but they never liked talking about money. Before I knew it, we were selling the house and moving. We went from a sunny suburb to a dreary urban area by the water channel. After a few months, it was obvious that my parents were in financial trouble, but I could not figure out what could have gone wrong. I asked them, wondering if maybe they made a risky investment on the stock market. My parents were not gamblers, they were honest, hardworking people. Eventually, they told me the truth. My grandma had terrible debts that were passed on to my parents when she died. She owed money to schools, banks, you name it, and she owed it. My grandma was a really good person, but she was bad with money, so my parents inherited her financial struggles. Before long, we were having trouble making ends meet. I got 2 part-time jobs while I was in high school to help my parents get the money they needed for our family to survive. On weekends, when other kids were at parties, I was stocking shelves at the local grocery store. At night after school, I would hurry to get my homework done and help my little brothers with their work before I had to go and work the late shift at the gas station. Eventually, my parents were able to get back on their feet, but they were not even close to being out of debt when I moved away to go to college. Now I have my own debts to pay, but I've been more careful than Grandma. I've learned to make sure I don't borrow more than I have to, and I work hard to pay back what I owe quickly. I loved my grandma and all, but I would never want to stick my children with money problems. I know my parents were trying to protect me, but sometimes I wish they had told me sooner so that I could have helped before we had to leave the home I grew up in. Do you think it is right or wrong, my parents choosing not to tell me the truth when I was younger? I'm not sure, but I think it was unfair for my grandmother to be so irresponsible in the first place. Is it acceptable to leave your family unexpected debts after you die? Have you or anyone you know ever experienced a situation like mine? Or struggled with working to pay off debts? Sometimes it feels like we are alone in our struggles, but we are definitely not. If you enjoyed hearing my story, please pass it along to your friends and family. Share your own stories in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Always hit that bell to get notifications, and thank you so much for watching.